Welcome to Cannon Beach. I'm in Cannon Beach, Oregon. That's Haystack Rock right behind me. And I've been here photographing. The sunset, you know, it wasn't great. You can see there were no clouds, so it was a little bit of a boring sunset, but the color was nice. We're in Oregon for my daughter's wedding, and we spent last night in Portland and then came out here to the coast tonight. We're spending tonight and tomorrow and the next night in Seaside, which is just like 15 minutes up the coast from Cannon Beach. And just going to be photographing along here, exploring, enjoying the ocean. I love the ocean. So tonight, I don't think it was a bust. I think I got some pretty cool pictures actually. With even though the sunset wasn't great and sky-wise, there was nice color on the horizon and in the water. The waves coming up, it's high tide, or going to be high tide in about an hour. The tide washing up and just then back waves moving out and leaving that nice glistening sand with the reflections in it. Got some shots of some kids playing in the water, running by, which I really like one of them, so I'll show them on here. Hope you enjoy this episode. Stay tuned. A large part of photographing is scouting. You spend a lot of time out just scouting around looking for things to photograph. In this case, we were just poking around along the coastal area, just inland a little bit, and just checking things out. I spent a lot of time just hiking, looking for things like this. This is just across from Hug Point, where you park to walk down to Hug Point. So here we are at Hug Point on the Oregon coast. Pretty cool area. This is a little cove from the main beach. You just walk a little further north, and you got where the stream runs in. Pretty windy. Want to fly my drone, but I think the wind's too strong. I don't know if I want to risk it. But anyway, let me show you some more of this. Is it windy?
A little bit.
So here we are at Ecola State Park here on the Oregon coast. Scouted this earlier this morning, and I'm just looking for a spot that I like. I really like this tree that's out there, but having a hard time getting the shot that I want. And anyway, now people keep walking in way. So, well, let me show you where I am. This is really cool. So this is Ecola State Park, and the sun is right there. There's my wife. But this big field, this is this picnic area, If you're familiar with the movie Kindergarten Cop, this is where they filmed the school carnival scene, where they had set up a school carnival in that old movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is the spot they did that. So, and I always wondered where that was. I always liked that show with the view right off of, with the, you know, the coast and everything, and this is where it was. So I always thought that was kind of cool.
Honey, I have a headache.
What?
I have a headache.
Maybe it's a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna poke around a little bit here and see if I can find a better shot. I like this one, but it's more. This is more about the tree. This is what I just did. This is what I just did, and it's more about the tree than it is the coastline. And you know, I really want it to be more about the coastline. Here's my exposure. Oh, there's my histogram, my exposure information. But I really want this to be more about Haystack Rock down there in the coastline, so I think I'm going to move. Anyway, I'll keep you posted. So I ended up going down a little closer to the overlook and standing there and photographing this as the moon was coming up. Sat there and waited for the last light to come up. It was just amazing. I really like how this one turned out. I cropped it to a 2-to-1 ratio to help crop out some of the foreground. I really love how it turned out. Waited longer as the moon came up, and this one was just amazing. That moonlight reflecting across the water. I didn't do a long exposure because I didn't want the waves to be blurry, but I really like both of these. They're very similar, but I like them both, so I decided to keep both of them. Here we are back in Ecola State Park, which is just between Seaside and Cannon Beach. It's a really cool state park. It was really overcast yesterday morning, and we didn't get out early enough to get any shots in the fog, which we should have. But we went up and spent all day up at Astoria, just poking around and being tourists. So this morning we're back here. And we've hiked up. This is the Lighthouse trail that you go from Indian Beach, and we came into this point. We've gone up a little further than this, but on our way back out, I stopped and photographed this on the way in. I really like this scene a lot. It especially once the sun goes behind the clouds and the light's not as harsh. It's just a cool scene, you know. I love the green firs and ferns and the forest. This has got some really cool perspectives on this trail. There's a spot further down I shot, I'll show you in a minute, where you're looking right down onto Indian Beach. So it's pretty. We feel like we're walking in the forests of the Moon of Endor from Star Wars. This is just like that area. I mean, it's just thick and lush and moss hanging from the trees. And so you having fun?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Her voice is still a little bit sketchy. We both got COVID again a couple weeks ago, and she still got some voice problems from it.
Yep.
Sounds like she's been yelling at me again.
Always.
Let's continue on down here. I'll show you this great overlook that looks over Indian Beach. This is a little viewpoint on the trail, looking off here out Lighthouse. Just beautiful. And Indian Beach is just around these rocks there. This rock in front. Those ones sticking out further out there are the other side of Indian Beach. Get over there in a minute. And Canna Beach is further down. That's Indian Beach. Sitting here waiting for our food to rehydrate. We're eating backpacking food for lunch. That's just how we swing. So we've been hanging out here all day long. We got here about 9 o'clock this morning. Hiked up on the loop trail up towards Indian Point and just been chilling out, relaxing. And I decided I wanted to stay here and get some photographs of the waves. There's some good wave action. The tide is now starting to go out. It was high tide while we were here, but there's some nice wave action going on here. And as the sun is getting better into the sky, so the waves are going to be backlit, I decided I wanted to shoot this. So I'm going to set up. I've walked out to this spot. You can see the beach back over that way. I'm gonna set up and start to photograph this, so we'll see how this goes. So I scouted this area this morning and really liked what I saw and decided to come back. Like I said, we were kind of planning on being back into Portland by now, but we could check into our hotel room at 10 o'clock at night. It wouldn't matter. It's only about an hour and a half back there from here. So I really, part of this whole purpose of this whole trip was to get some waves. Well, we're out here for my daughter's wedding, but part of the purpose of the trip to coming to the coast was to try to get some cool waves, you know, splashing on rocks. And been looking all around on this trip to find anything, and my daughter said, well, go out to Indian Beach because that's where she surfs and there's some good rocks. And I'm like, yeah, we got here and it's nice. In fact, I'm gonna stay here till probably about 8 o'clock getting these shots and then go back up on top. There's an overlook looking down across the whole beach and sit there until sunset to photograph the last light hitting this whole bay and rocks. It's just beautiful. So let me show you this and how this is going to look. So I've got my 70 to 200 on there. That should get me in close enough. I've got 300 also. So you can see where they're splashing out there. That big rock they're splashing nicely on, and then this one closer to me. I may have to move a little bit side to side, but I really like this one right here in the middle. And when a certain waves hit it, how they splash up nicely. Plus I like the fact that when I'm zoomed in, like you see that one, when I'm zoomed in, the background is going to be that rock in the background, which will give a nice solid, you know, black background. This is just really, really beautiful coastline, really rugged. I mean, look at, there's from this spot right here, I've got numerous places where I can photograph different angles, like this one over here, wave splashing up right there. There's, you know, so there's looking that direction, there's right in front of me, and there's here. So this isn't going as good as I would have hoped. It's just with the tide going out, the waves they're all right. I'm getting some okay splashes, but it's just nothing spectacular. I think this is one of those things where it's hit or miss, but your probably best bet is to try to shoot waves, cool waves in the winter. Though I know if there's a storm out there, that helps a lot. Trying to do it when it's, you know, when there's a storm pushing in, so you get bigger swells and stuff. But I mean, there's some nice splashes, just nothing really spectacular in here. I did get some stuff further away. There's one that consistently happens way across the coast. Let me show you. I just saw it as I talked about it. So way over there on Indian Point, well, Indian Point's further out, but on a spot close there, watch. See, there was a really nice one right in front of me. See that? So way out there, you get that one that just consistently is blowing there, almost like it's going into a hole and blowing up. You see that? So I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. There it goes again. Pretty cool. We're going to end up going up Up well, you can see the cars over there on the parking lot. We're gonna hike up to an overlook up there and set up for the as the sun gets lower in the sky. Just get the last bit of sunshine in across here. This is pretty cool. I mean, there's been some okay action, but it's just a matter of catching it, knowing where it's getting. You got to watch the waves and see where it's going to happen, and then sometimes it doesn't, and then it'll surprise you. So it's a lot of trial and error. So we're last night here on the coast photographing and being tourists. Photographed some wave action down there on the end of the beach. Wasn't that happy with it, so we're up here on the overlook. It's on the Lighthouse trail. It's only about 1/8 of a mile up the trail to this nice overlook. There's a bench here and just a nice place to sit and watch. I'm going to photograph the last light. Let me show you what this looks like. Oh, and there's my wife. See, nice bench there. So you got this great view just looking down off of here. We've got some clouds forming. That's nice. Just slight clouds pushing in. Surfers out there surfing and people playing on the beach. So this is a really, really cool shot. I like this a lot. I like everything about the composition I've done. The tree on the left there, I'm not sure. I don't know if you can see this tree over here, but I'm not showing it. I've wide angle, but cropping in just enough to not show it, and just enough to just a little bit of the shadow at the bottom, and pan to the right, so I'm picking up the surfers in the shot. I'm just kind of waiting for the light to get a little bit better, though it's pretty good right now. I mean, you see the shadows of the people down there getting long, just getting just to that perfect time period of just great stuff. So I'm going to sit here and photograph this. You can see my camera, my lens I'm using for this is my 28-70, and I think I'm probably zoomed into maybe 40. So that's my settings. I will maybe adjust them a little bit as needed as the light changes, but I'm just doing standard matrix metering on this. It's just really cool. I just love this shot. I mean, look at this. You got the rocks out there with the hole in the one. You can see, and just it's a shot that you want the full scene. I think you want the spectrum, not edge to edge. So I'm not going to get the tree, and I'm not going to get the cliffs over here, the rocks over here. But you want the basic beach and the rocks out there in the background. It's just one of these really this is classic Oregon. This has just been absolutely amazing. I've got some really cool shots of surfers carrying their boards across the sand. I got one of a guy coming across out there that was really cool. Just, I mean, everything from landscape shots, the full-on scene, to detail shots of surfers carrying their boards, which are just colorful, you know. Some neat stuff. The color has really gotten cool here on the water. As the sun gets lower and lower, the back of the waves get green, which are really cool. Just amazing. A lot of people are leaving. So, you know, it's interesting. A lot of people bail at this time of night when the light's getting really good and all the crowds leave. So, this is one of the best places if you're coming to the Oregon coast, going to Cannon Beach, Seaside. This state park, Ecola State Park, it's got just really great scenery from, like I showed you on the first one, from over on the other side, from the Ecola Point looking over at Cannon Beach, to this beach, which is Indian Beach. The hike from here that goes, there's a whole loop that you can take that goes all the way up and around. We just took the Lighthouse trail, but it's just really awesome. Well, that was amazing. We ended up stay until sunset. Well, the sun went into the fog bank out there, but the light was just absolutely spectacular. It doesn't get better than that. And some of the detail shots I got of some of the surfers and everything, it was really cool. This was a good call to just park it here all day long. We got here at like 9:30 this morning here at Indian Beach, and just hung out all day long. And to be at that spot at that time of night was just amazing. So really, really fun. I think I got some really good shots. The hardest part's going to be determining which one I like best, which is going to be the best shot. I mean, the composition's pretty much the same on all of them. Zooming in a little bit, zooming out a little bit, but yeah. So it's just going to be finding the one that I like the light the best, the waves lining up the best, and that. So pretty dang fun. My daughter, I texted her a picture I took with my cell phone and of how great the light was, and she's like, "You're still at the coast?" Like, yeah, we're just walking back to the car now. It's 9 o'clock. We got an hour and a half drive, and we're actually thinking we want something to eat. We don't know where to go because everything's probably going to be closed. But such is the life of a vagabond and his wife. See you later. So this is my masterpiece shot from the whole trip. Absolutely love how this turned out. This was so worth the wait. I named it Surf's Up. I think it's fitting. That those two guys and their dog was hanging out with them and running back and forth, and we got so lucky the clouds just came in and it turned out perfect. We stayed in Seaside at the Holiday Inn Express right down from the beach, and one evening we walked out and I photographed a bunch of ICM, or intentional camera movement shots. This one I really, really love. It was just really cool. ICM is about using a slower shutter speed and then moving the camera while you're taking the picture. It's intentional camera movement, and some of them are just so fun to do. This one, you can just a quick movement will just blur things just enough to give it a nice abstract look, which I really love. I really love abstract photography. This is one of my favorites from that night of an ICM picture. Just a quick movement. That's the fog bank out there on the horizon that looks like mountains. You do a quick movement. I typically move from right to left. It's just the way I work. But so you'll just start moving and then push the button and hold it down as you're shooting to get shots like that. This one isn't an ICM. This is a handheld shot at a high ISO where I got down low, and I just love how it turned out. With new digital cameras and noise reduction software, you can really do well at shooting high ISO. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and happy trails.